What's up, Doctor's Daily Pay? Good evening. What's up, Cam? What's up, Gigi? Good evening. Good evening, everybody. What's up, Catsmandu? You just swiped into the library. Look at that. The timing, right? What's up, Conchita? Hey, April. Hey, Mary Shaw. What's up, Julie Just Breathe? Good evening. Hello, Cheryl. What's up, Ivy Gina? Good to see you as well. If you are joining me on Facebook and YouTube, please make sure that you speak in the comments because I can't see when you join. What's up? That went very fast. Hey, Rachel. What's up, Nisi? How are you? Who did I miss? What's up, Mandu? What's up, Camille? How are you? What's up, Darlene? Good to see you as well. What's up, Arteb, Mama CF? What's up, Sherry, Blue Honey Pot, Pamela, Steffi G? Good to see everyone. Like to see you guys rolling on in here. What's up, Megan Mingle? Hello, David. How are you? What's up, Kristen? Hey, Mary. Hey, Crystal B. What's up, Amy? Allie Nicole, good to see you as well. Hey, let me see. It's me. I love me. Good to see you as well. What's up? That went fast. I didn't even get it out. What's up, DJ20? Kayla, good to see you as well. Feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. Hey, over there on YouTube, Lynn Cotton, good to see you as well. Hey, have the cake first. What's up, Christine? Y'all doing all right this evening? Hey, Laura, good to see you as well. Good to see you guys over there on YouTube. What's up, DeBose? Hello, Angie and Grammy and Blue Nevada and Senior and the other Cheryl and Sandy and hey, Funny Face. Hey, Becky, good to see you. What's up, Gemini? Hello to the other Cindy. What's up, Meaty? How are you? Hey, Jen Penn. Moto Mama, good to see you. Hey, Nancy G, good to see you guys as well. So listen, folks, let me just say this. If you don't already know and you haven't been over there to see it, there is another post up on my Substack. ICE is here in small town, North Carolina. I believe that they've got places pretty much everywhere at this point, right? So, hey, Becky, what's up, Cam? So let me just say this again. There is a Substack that's up over there on my Substack. If you're not following me over there, please do that. Thanks, Cam. Trying to be more active in that space. Hey, Linda Sims, good to see you. What's up, Blue Betty? What's up, Micro? AG Silver, glad to see you as well. Hey, Veronica, what's up, Elowen? I think that's right. Elowen, Eolin. I don't know. Sorry if I fucked up your name. I'm trying. What's up, Lisa Feldman? What's up, Taz? How are you? Hey, Selena. All right. So listen, folks, I got a lot that I want to talk about if you can't tell by this headline. So there's a couple of different pictures and different images that's on the backdrop here. And so I want to just kind of go over what we're going to be talking about. So that everybody is kind of on the same sheet of music and we know where we're going with this conversation. So number one, I'll start this conversation by saying I'm a veteran. And so I've got some resources that I want to be able to provide for people that are active duty, people that are National Guard, people that are Marines, people that may be deployed, people that are already called up, because you may need those resources, right? It's important to understand where we are, what's happening. Hey, Ella. And if you need support in terms of knowing what are your rights as an active duty military person, what are your rights as a member of the National Guard if you are being asked to do something that violates the law and that violates the Constitution, right? So we want to talk about that. And I want to give you some information. I'm also going to be putting some more links in the link tree. I'm behind on putting things in the link tree. I think I owe you guys like 3 different sections, but life has been life. And so, I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Let me put another one up here, guys. Give me 1 second, and then we'll keep going, okay? All right, so I got a little bit of a sore throat. I'm hoping that is just allergies and nothing else. And I could just be tired, right? Hey, Carol. Hey, Tampa, my sweet thigh. I appreciate that. Yeah, Queen, I'm good. How are you? Them kids, Nene, good to see you as well. Hey, Candy Red, what's up, CJ? Good to see you. Okay, so first, I want to start by highlighting this toll-free number that you see that's on the image, right? The 877-447-4487. That is the GI Rights Hotline. I just want to go ahead and highlight that for everybody in case you have a loved one, and you want to share that information with them. That is a telephone number. Hey, Sharita. Hey, Reyes, where they can call and get support, including finding out what their rights are. Yeah, Carol, what their rights are, what it means, and all of that. I'm also going to give you the link to another website, and I've got a PDF that I need to put up as well. Give me 1 second while I pull it up and get to talking to you. Of course, let me see what I did with it. Maybe I This is what happens when you have so many things open. And I say that all the time, but okay, so I will put it up here in just a second. So it is a military know your rights. There's a public PDF. Appreciate that. Reyes retired. And so it is a U.S. military know your rights PDF. And it talks about, what you have the right to do and what you don't. And what you need to do if you're being asked to do something that is not accurate, right? So just want to kind of provide that for folks, and I will put it in the I'll put it in the link tree as well. Or if you just Google military know your rights, you'll be able to see that as well. Okay, I see you, Linda, doing the job already. Appreciate you. So this guide is a starting place. The one that I'm going to give you, maybe Jen Pen. It could be Bubbles. It could be a lot of people at this point, right? There has been a lot of ignorance and how can I say this? There has been a lot of ignorance, a lot of intolerance, and a lot of people unwilling to hear things. You know what I mean? And I think that's the part that's really important. You know what I mean? Appreciate that, Witch. So, and I'll tell you, yes, that is, yeah, absolutely, Linda. They are saying something about the Marines doing the same thing. I'll share with you what I shared with the boss, and just tell you really quickly. Here's my thing. The things that I've experienced today are nothing that I haven't experienced before, right? Doesn't mean that it's not triggering. It doesn't mean that it's not impactful. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have an effect. It's just that I chalk it up to this is how people are sometimes, right? It's nothing new for me. This is why I have zero expectations from particular groups of people at all, because people are just who they are. And if people aren't willing to have a conversation about things and create a place of understanding instead of arguing to be right, then there's nothing to be said. You know what I mean? So I just find for me, it's easier to just disengage and move on, because I'm not going to keep going with people who only hear what they want to hear in order to be right. I'm just not. So, and that's not me saying anything. I don't know any of those folks, couldn't tell you anything about them, but it just is what it is, right? So, Blue Honey Pot, that is how it has been my entire life. So, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Okay, so let me get back over here to folks that are on YouTube and all the things. So listen, one of the things where they, Sandy, see, and that's another thing. Why? I don't. Here's what I have learned in the past couple of days. Don't follow the boss's ass into any lives. Hey, Michael. So I appreciate you all. And yeah, I know that you guys are protective, but people are who they are. So like literally just let it be like a water off duck's back. I mean, I'm just saying, like it just kind of is what it is. Let me say this for the folks. Hey, Pam, and what's up, P. Jones? So let me say this for the folks that are in the comments and you are trolling, or you're just coming in spouting off at the mouth. I'm going to ask you to either click the button and join the live as a person that's part of the panel, right? And if you're not going to do that, then expect to be muted and booted from the live. Don't mute them automatically, guys, because it's bad for the algorithm. Don't just mute them because they say one thing that's not good for the algorithm. What's up, Rosalind? And so no, there's another one today, Brandy, that was what it was, right? Merlot, I don't know if you meant to request up or not. So yeah, there's a lot. So again, don't mute trolls, and just don't engage with them, honestly. Just yeah, because if you mute them too fast, it will actually fuck up the algorithm, right? Okay, so having said all of that, I do want to talk about what's been happening. Give me a second, and I'm going to bring you up, Merlot. What's up, Tootie? Good to see you as well. So I do want to talk about Title 10, which is the law that Trump quoted for deploying the National Guard. And I want to talk about the areas of the law that are vague and the areas of the law that might become a legal issue for him, which I think I think it probably will, to be fair, right? What I also want to do is share a video with you guys, because if you have noticed, Soul to Core, I don't know what you mean is Newsom betraying us in what way. Hey Alice, good to see you. So um just so that everybody gets it right, you can't just, the president of the United States, the National Guard is a joint body. It's a joint military body that tends to have state and federal. Good. I'm glad you can read the phone number, the 877-447-4484. Thanks, Blue Honey Pot. And so typically that is why a president will not activate the guard in a state until the governor of that state asks them to do so or agrees that it needs to be done, because it is seen as a joint collaboration with that particular military body, right? And so there's very specific times in which you can do it without the governor being on board. What's up, Super G? So just did, Sandy. Appreciate you guys. So let me go ahead and share with you this part of it. Merlot, let me do this first. So Soul to Core, he did no, Gavin Newsom did not sign the guard over to the Fed. No, he did not. As a matter of fact, he said no. He actually said not to come, right? So no, Gavin Newsom did not support this in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. So give me a second, folks. Give me a second. Merlot, I'm gonna bring you up real quick before I go into this. What's up, Merlot? Hey, Cindy Green. What you got?
I was actually gonna say drop me out of the queue.
Oh, I got you. I got you. No worries. Appreciate you.
No. 1 second.
Okay.
So I was in Dan Trails Live, and I just wanted to, like, I can understand your point, but I can also understand Ardona's point. And I did recognize when they ganged up on you a little bit. Like, it was 3 against 1 at one point. It was. Like, that's just, there's no mistaking that. But I kind of get, after I kind of listened for a little bit, I kind of get where their point was. But I also get that you were kind of making almost the same point. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you saying so. My point is simply this, and I'm not going to debate it. The issue is that the topic around colorism is about where you believe the power structure lies. They don't believe that a power structure has to exist. I believe that it does with regard to isms. It is a thing, and so we just can agree to disagree, and that'll be that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like here's my thing. When people work as hard as they worked to not hear me, it's not a fruitful conversation, and I might as well dip, and that's why I did.
But I feel like they kind of hurt you a little bit, because after you left, then it was kind of like, oh, we kind of get it. Like,
yeah, but doing that shit after I leave, fuck that. No, absolutely not. You don't get to act like I am one way while I'm there, and then wait until I leave to concede my point. I just have no interest in that. I feel like
it was a deeper understanding that happened, like, because you know, I could tell that the way the conversation was going, and I didn't mean for that long pause to happen here, but I'm just trying to think. The way the conversation was going, it kind of came off as your experience is not validated. And I feel like that's where, like, we hit the, like, you know, oh, we're going down this rail now, and it's just nothing we can do about it. And it's just, I feel like that's where the conversation kind of got derailed.
So let me just catch people up. I joined a live today that the boss was in, right, which I am now learning not to do. Because he joins lives with people that maybe conduct things a certain way that I just don't.
That's the other thing, Danny. I wanted to say, I'm sorry to cut you off. I know you hate that, but I feel like it's still a safe space, and I felt.
You feel like who's a safe space?
I'm sorry, Danny. Say it one more time.
What do you feel is a safe space?
No, I feel like the conversation you were having on that live, you can still have that conversation. Well, if you want to, obviously, but I just don't want it to feel like I'm closed off from this space, because you're not.
Well, okay, so
it was just a really deep conversation.
Nope. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm not doing, and I'm just going to be very clear about this. Okay, I don't care what conversation happened after I left. I truly don't. What I know is what my experience was of that space, and no one else can tell me what my experience was or what it should have been, right? Nobody can, because nobody else in that live was me experiencing it for the total. And so my point is simply this. I said it, and that's why I'm not discussing it like that. You don't see it anywhere on here, right? And here's the reason.
Well, I know.
It's very simple for me, right? When you know that a member on your panel has used their time to intentionally try to get to someone's race, to make an issue of someone being biracial or being light skinned or being whatever. If you know that that's that person's agenda, why let it become a thing? And then why allow a second, third, fourth, and fifth party to join that, to where at that point, literally, it is 5 of them, right? Working against me with no one hearing me. Because the entire conversation around the privilege of light-skinned people was something that I identified at the start of the fucking conversation. At the literal start of the conversation. The place where we disagree is very simple, right? When you think about the isms that exist, whether you are talking classism, sexism, ableism, whatever, the thing that makes it different from discrimination, the thing that makes it different from bigotry, the thing that makes it different from prejudice is the fact that you have the power over that system to oppress the other group of people. That's what makes it an ism, is the existence of a system, because without the system, it is simply bigotry. Without the system, it is simply discrimination. Without the system, it is simply prejudice. And that was my point. So what I can tell you definitively is that light-skinned people don't control anybody's fucking system. And what it is that white people control the system of racism, which is the umbrella under which colorism exists. And therefore, what white racism has succeeded in doing is turning black folk and white folk against black folk and light-skinned folk against each other, with dark-skinned people blaming light-skinned people and light-skinned people saying we didn't have nothing to do with this shit. And all it does is reinforce the racial white supremacist agenda that already exists. So where the power structure lies is, again, up there, not with light-skinned people. And that was the point that I made. Not that there wasn't colorism, not that colorism doesn't exist within our community, not that light-skinned people don't have privilege. None of those things are what I said. What I said was specific about the necessity for a system to exist and for you to have power over that systemic structure, which light-skinned people don't have. That's it, period. And all they wanted to do was tell me how much I don't know the dark skin experience because I'm light skinned. Well, I just fucking told you what it is. So
I don't think that was it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I know
how I came across. Though.
Nope.
I do get that.
No, do you understand? No, do you understand what you're doing right now?
What am I doing?
You are literally minimizing my experience as the person that was on the panel.
That was literally the conversation we had after you left the panel.
And I don't care what they allowed themselves to say after I left the panel has no relevance to me. If you cannot hear it when I'm in the room, I don't care. I don't care if you got it after I left, because let me just tell you this. If they got it after I left, then I would expect somebody to come back and say something to me. I don't have no fucking messages in my inbox. Not from near one of them, right? So no, I don't. Listen, the entire conversation, sorry for those of you guys that are on YouTube and Facebook, but there was a whole issue that happened in another place in space earlier today on another live. So let me just say this. Kenneth wanted it to be about me. That's why he said, do you have one drop? Right? So
No,
immediately,
okay,
no, but Kenneth is where everybody else came in, because Kenneth said, yes, let's bring up Michael. So Michael was here to back up Kenneth. And then Michael said, let's bring up Ordorna. And her sole purpose was to back up Michael, who was backing up Kenneth. So that is what it is.
I don't think Ordorna was backing up Kenneth.
She was. And that is why she spoke to me in the manner that she did when she first got on the live. And so you can have your opinion, and you are entitled to your own experience, right? But I know what my experience was, and there's no one he can tell. There's no one who can gaslight me into believing that something occurred other than what I heard, lived, breathed, and saw. Yeah, no, I'm not changing anything about it, and I don't have any ill will. It's just not for me. And that's what I said when I left.
Sorry, are you done? I'm sorry. Are you finished? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that I'm trying to make sure that you're silenced or anything. But I was just saying, you and Adorno were having a very important conversation, and I think like Kenneth's tactics ruined that conversation.
No, because I'm going to tell you something.
Conversation needs to be had.
No, that's so let me tell you something. Adorno and I did not begin to have a respectable conversation until Liv level set and said that it was a conversation between the two of us, because prior to him level setting that room, she was condescending and nasty. Like, for example, her threat,
the whole thing of just like,
and that is why I said she came in to that live for that particular purpose, to devalue and to minimize my position and what I was saying. She had no desire to hear what I was saying. And that's why I asked her. She said, well, when you read this and the studies say this, my whole thing was great. If you have something that says different than the things that I've studied, which I named, right? I named the things that I've studied. Then give me a link for it. And the link that she provided me still does not say what she says. And if you look at many sources out there, some will say that no, it's only colorism can only be experienced one way, right? And then other sources say no, it can be experienced two different ways, because the power structure isn't with light-skinned people or black-skinned people, dark-skinned people. It's actually with white people. And so for me, this is the thing. I am not going to argue with black people about who is the most disenfranchised and whether or not. And what she literally said is that light-skinned people perpetuate colorism simply by our existence, right? Which is this fuckery.
That's the thing.
Nope. Hold on, please don't, because you keep interrupting. And here's my thing. When I asked her to clarify that point, she never did. She never could. And that's the end of it. And that's why I'm specifically not, yes, Riley, and it's working. Appreciate you. So it just kind of is what it is. That is what she said. And she could not say how we perpetuated other than by our existence. Right? So, and here's the thing. White people do not automatically perpetuate, because here's what she was saying. I was doing what white people do. No, I wasn't. Do you want to know the difference? Is I did not say that systemic racism doesn't exist. I didn't say that colorism doesn't exist. I didn't say that dark-skinned people aren't marginalized. I didn't say that. I never once said what they were saying did not exist. So this was not a case of light-skinned people doing what white people do, not able to see a privilege. No, it was not that. But they wanted it to be that. And they can have that conversation wherever they want to say it, however they want to say it. I don't need to. I am talking to Merlot on TikTok. I don't need to justify to complete strangers who I am, what I already do know, what I, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to do that. They can assume, which they did. They made a lot of assumptions about me. And I'm not going to do that. I don't know them folk. I don't know them folk, right?
Well, all I'm saying, Danny, I don't think it was as ill intentioned as it's coming across.
Okay,
Like,
and here's my thing: is for me, you sound like MAGA when they make excuses for Trump. I know condescension when I hear it. I know aggression when I hear it. I know what I heard from all three of those women, along with Michael. I know exactly what I heard. And there's nobody that can gaslight me into thinking I heard something different. I have heard shit from Black people my whole life. My whole life. I know what it sounds like when they say it. Ain't nobody who can tell me different. I've been hearing that shit from Black folk my whole fucking life. The same way I hear shit from white people my whole fucking life. I know it when I hear it, and I don't need anybody to tell me different or to justify what they did or didn't say. I don't care. I don't care what anybody else thinks. You can't tell me what I live and experience. You can't tell me that Ike, listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go tell Tina that Ike wasn't beating her ass. Go tell Tina that Ike wasn't beating her ass. Go ahead, tell him and see what she's going to say. She's going to say, shit, I know what it feels like. How are you going to tell somebody what it wasn't? You can't do that.
That's the thing, Danny. You think we're trying to invalidate your experiences. We're not trying to do that.
Okay, so let me just tell you, they absolutely did that very thing. And maybe you know them and maybe they're your friends, because I literally heard you just say, we are not trying to do that, right? But you are literally doing that right now.
No, I'm saying because it felt like when you left, it was just like, oh, now we just made Danny feel like she's not a part of the community and that we're just doing the same thing white people do. Like, it wasn't that. Like,
I don't care what they thought about when I left. I don't care. I literally don't care.
Okay, well.
I said to them, I said it very clearly. I am not going to keep repeating myself. I am not going to keep saying the same thing, acknowledging what you all are saying and still asking a question that I'm not getting an answer to. There's no need. There's no need, right? Is it frustrating? Is it upsetting to have these experiences with Black people? Sure it is. Is it new for me? Absolutely fucking not. Is it going to change who I am as a person? Absolutely fucking not. Am I going to worry about that shit tomorrow? Absolutely fucking not.
We know that, Danny.
Yeah. And so when you say to me, you don't want me to feel like it's not a safe space, you can't tell me what's safe. What's safe for you ain't safe for me. And those people are not safe for me. Those Black women and those Black men are not a safe space for me. Now, they might be for you. They might be for someone else, but they are not a safe space for me. And I know that.
Well, Danny, I support you. I was just trying to explain and just trying to say where the disconnect happened. And then just...
But how can you do that? How can you explain to me, the participant of the exchange, what happened? How can you tell me what happened to me?
Because they weren't trying to deny your Blackness.
But they were. That was the whole fucking thing. They literally put a paper bag up on the camera. What the fuck you mean? Really? Come on now. They literally put a brown paper bag up on the camera. But you gonna tell me they weren't trying to discount my Blackness? Get the fuck out of here. I give a good damn. There's not a single person on there, not even the moderator that came in that checked that shit. So let me just tell you something. If you don't check it, you are complicit. Would I ever let someone sit on my live and do that? No, I would not. Absolutely, I would not. And if you don't check it, you are complicit. I'm not doing that, Marlo. I know who I am. I know who I am, and I know for sure. I know exactly who I am.
We know that.
Okay, so this is the thing. So if you know that,
the messaging was lost a little bit.
No, the messaging was not lost. The messaging was not lost. I'm articulate as fuck. I don't lose my messaging. I say exactly what I'm going to say, and I say it the way that it needs to be said. If somebody does not want to hear it, that ain't my issue. And I won't let it go, period. And that's exactly what they did. I was specifically asked, was I a one drop? I was specifically asked, was I black? I was specifically asked, I was specifically said, here's the brown paper bag. So do not sit here and try to tell me that no one was attacking my blackness. Get the absolute fuck up out of here with that nonsense.
No, Danny, I'm saying that was that was Michael, and that was.
I don't give a good damn. And guess what? And Michael and Kenneth are who called Adorna up. So she came in hot and heavy for them. So I don't care. There's not a single person on that live that checked that nonsense. Not a single person that checked that live. No one checked anyone and said, this is not how we do it in this community. Nobody. Not a one. So don't come here and tell me what they did or didn't mean to do. I know exactly what the fuck they meant to do.
Okay.
Damn.
It is what it is.
It is. All right.
Have a good day.
You too. Shit. And I ain't even come here to talk about this shit. I got other shit I want to talk about. Hello, MBWEO. How are you?
Sorry, I didn't mean to join.
No worries. I got you. All right. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. I know y'all are like, damn, what happened on TikTok today? Here's the thing. This is what I'm going to offer everybody. This is what I'm going to offer everyone. Okay. Be so sure in who you are and what you experience that you do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking you didn't hear and experience what you heard and experienced. Don't do that. Always know who you are and trust yourself 100%. There is no one that can tell me anything about what I experienced today. No one. Because today is not the first time I've experienced it in my life. Period. So I will not be gaslit. I will not be told, well, they talked about this after you left. Listen to me. I give a good fuck what they said when I left. This many. That's how much. I don't care. I don't care. So, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna let Blue Honey Pot. I don't know if you meant to come up or not, but you're here. Okay, cool.
Seconds.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Because I was there and heard the entire thing. So, no, you are not like them. You deal in facts and numbers and everyday experiences of people. And all she wanted to do was repeat herself over and over and over. And then say, see, you don't get it. See, you don't get it.
Yep.
Okay, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. And if they knew you, they would understand that your next step is to find a solution to the problem we have at hand.
Yeah.
No matter how it was for them when they were growing up, how it was for you when you were growing up, or how it was for me growing up. Shit was fucked up. We all know that. So what are we doing to correct that now?
Right.
And I asked that in the chat several times, and she never answered that. But she could repeat herself continuously with the same verbiage. So they just would rather argue with people in that live. I go to that live a lot in the mornings before you get on because I'm at work and listen. And yeah, that's how they talk to people. That's how they talk to people.
Yeah. That
a
ain't
lot
for
of
me.
people. I won't say everybody, but yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that ain't for me. So
I hate that you went through that. I was surprised when I saw you in there, but you held your own, and it doesn't need to be that way for Black people. It doesn't need to. We got to come together at a moment right now, and we have a lot of issues, a lot of shit to work out, but we got to handle a mess right now, and then when we're rebuilding this shit, we can figure it all out. Okay.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it well, and like I said, how do I burn that? You can never get it to light right. What you lighting it with? Make sure you're not writing the wrong end too. But yeah. So sorry, you guys. I know this is a lot because this is not what I wanted to talk about, as you can see. I love your husband, Cheryl. Listen, folks. For me, when I look at these issues, I understand that racial issues, even if they exist within that group, the power is not within the group, right? So if I have a group, to me, this is just like, okay, if within the LGBTQ plus community, right? um it would be like trans people blaming gay people because they're not as targeted as those people, as if they control the system and the targeting of them, and they do not. That's the way that I see it. So
Exactly.
That's
exactly right.
It is what it is. Right. So okay, but I appreciate you, love. Okay.
We all do too. We appreciate you. Thanks, man.
Loving you. Okay, so somebody said to me they cannot see the entire number. And yes, y'all, that is my stage burner because it's been a lot. Okay, so the telephone number for GI Rights, the GI Rights hotline, the telephone number is 877-447-4487. There is a PDF that if you'll give me one moment, I will grab for you and I will put in the link tree. And the reason I want to do that for you is because there are a lot of things out there, right? And I feel like especially younger military people, they may not know what their rights are and what their rights aren't. They may not know where to go for that information, right? So let me see. For military members that are seeking legal support, there's another telephone number. It is 619-463-2369. I'm going to give it to you again. It is 619-463-2369. And I believe this is the PDF that I want. It is. Okay, I am putting the link to this PDF in my link tree as we speak. Okay, so that you guys have it. Yeah, I'm putting this one in my link tree right now. Appreciate you guys. Thank you on average. Okay, I need to put this in here real quick. And add. What you trying to do? Oh, right there. Why are you asking me crazy shit, Linktree? Okay, so it's in there. The link to the PDF. Thank you, Titus, for putting the telephone number in there. So the link to the PDF for the military Know Your Rights, it is in there. Okay, so you all should have access to that. Okay. Yeah, so Nance, that's what we're talking about. We are absolutely talking about the deployment of the National Guard to LA. And I think that if you are on Facebook and you are on YouTube, the title of this live says Real Patriots, Where You At? And the reason why I say that is because I need for people to understand. I don't need for people to understand, but the country needs for you to understand that nationalism is not patriotism. They are not one and the same thing. Patriotism does not mean you blindly support the actions of your leadership simply because they are your leadership. And it doesn't matter whether they are your platoon sergeant, whether they are your, your CO, whether they are your first sergeant, your master sergeant, the president of the United States of America. That doesn't play a role in this conversation, right? When you join the military, you do not take an oath to the President of the United States of America. You take an oath to the Constitution, right? You are here to defend the country. And patriotism requires that we examine the actions of the administration and ask yourself, are they constitutional? Are they legal? And are we entering uncharted territory? And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of these laws that are being enacted now have never been enacted for a long time. They haven't been enacted for decades upon decades upon decades, right? And people have always known that these laws were somewhat ambiguous in some ways and in some spaces, right? And so, but what has happened, what previously happened is when we had elected representatives who were truly mostly, let me just say this, who were mostly public servants, and they put country over party at the end of the day, which is what John McCain did with the thumbs down, right? When we had that, even though people knew these things could be exploited, they did not exploit them, right? And the reason they did not exploit them is because they were more interested in the country and the well-being of people rather than themselves. There was no desire to become a dictatorship. There was no desire to become anything other than the democratic constitutional republic that we have always been, right? And we now have a group of individuals who would like to change the country that we live in and the kind of country that we live in. And I think that people need to start understanding that this is not a, well, just wait and see. They're not going to take it too far. They are going to take it as fucking far as you let them. I'm going to say that again. They are going to take it as far as they are allowed to take it, right? And as we head in this direction, it is getting, it can get very dangerous for folks on all sides. These are not people that have a conscience. These are not people that have, they don't have a balance. They don't have integrity, right? And I think that people need to understand that and figure out what you need to be doing, right? So I want to share this with you all about Title 10. So you can see that I put Title 10 above Trump and Newsom's pictures. And so Title 10 is what Trump said he was deploying the National Guard under, right? And so I want to share with you a little bit about that so that we're clear about what it says and what it doesn't say, okay? So when we talk about when can the president federalize National Guard troops of a particular state, right? It happened in 2020, right? It happened in 2020 after the George Floyd unaliving by the police. And also the thing that happened then when he mobilized them, it was specifically because Tim Walz asked. Do you all remember this? Where Tim Walz said, yes, send them in. And Trump praised him and said that he thought he did it in a timely manner, right? It was on day 3, I believe. And so when that happened, that was done in conjunction with the governor, right? And so I think that people need to understand that was something that happened between the two of them together for that state, right? That did not occur. So let me just be clear that did not occur for January 6th, right? Which I think that we would all agree was an invasion or an attack on the Capitol, right? It did not occur that day. And when people say that he offered the National Guard to Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi nor does any member of Congress have the authority to federalize the National Guard. They don't have the capability to activate the National Guard, period. And he can mention it in a conversation and say, well, you know, the National Guard could be activated, but she has no authority to do such a thing. And he would be needing to talk. I mean, it wouldn't be him. There's a board over them, right? So governors that refuse the request for National Guard are allowed to do so, and they keep their troops home on their soil. That's exactly what happened in 2020 when he deployed troops, the National Guard, to Minneapolis, right? And in DC, also the same thing. When they were deployed in DC, if a governor said, I do not want my folks, my National Guard, to go to DC, then they didn't. Their troops, their National Guard stayed home, period, right? And so everybody needs to understand that what Donald Trump has done now is act in opposition to the governor, right? Who under any other normal circumstance would retain control and command of California's National Guard. Okay. So Trump has said, hey, I'm going to send troops to your state. And Gavin Newsom has said, we don't need them. Everything is under control. We're handling this, right? And Trump says, well, I want to send them. And we'll talk about why I believe he wants to send them in just a minute. But I want to talk about this. He says that Donald Trump said that the federalizing of the troops was necessary to, quote unquote, address the lawlessness in California. And Gavin Newsom's response was that this move was, quote unquote, purposely inflammatory and will only escalate tensions, right? And I think that people also need to understand something. Some of you guys are like, cars are being set on fire. Have you ever seen a city after a Super Bowl win? Have you ever seen a city, a sports celebration after they've won in that city? Have you ever seen it? Because I have. I've seen them burning shit down, flipping over cars in their exuberance over their team winning. I've seen them climbing light poles and all the things. So do not tell me, oh, well, they're burning cars or they flipped a car. I give a good damn. Those things occur when sports are celebrated as well, right? Right, hanging from poles and the whole thing. So when people want to talk about that, you need to check your bias as to what you're paying attention to and what you're not, right? Nobody says anything about those people. It's just, oh, they're just celebrating. Well, does it matter that they're celebrating is costing taxpayer dollars? Does it matter? Huh? Does it matter? Ohio Buckeye, do me a favor. And I don't know if you can see it up here, but I ask for folks not to type in all caps because all caps is reserved for my moderators and for some of my folks that are vision impaired. So you're free to comment. Just please don't type in all caps. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. So let me just show you a little bit. Right. You can literally Google like sporting events, burned cars, and celebrating, right? And immediately you will get images of all these things, right? There's a car on fire at an LA skateboarding event. Like, it's just, I don't think that people understand. Yeah, soccer events are crazy as well, right? So I don't want to hear this talk about, oh, I'm concerned about the businesses, or I'm concerned about the cars, or I'm concerned about whatever, right? Because if you are not concerned about those things at all time in all settings, being done by all people, then don't be concerned now, right? Ohio Buckeye for Life. If you would like to join the panel, request to do so. Okay. You can request to do so. So I'm just saying, and I'm being very clear about what I'm saying. Now, what I would highly recommend is that you listen to comprehend what I'm saying and not listen to respond, comment, or assume, because that can lead to significant misunderstandings that end up with me providing facts and then you looking like you assumed, right? So again, I just did. Appreciate you, Cam. All right, so let's see. Good evening, Kyla. What you got for me? Oh, I don't guess Kyla meant to come up, right? Yes, Astrid, I know, right? So again, you have to you listen. If you were not talking about, I've asked you not to use all caps. If you do it again, Ohio Buckeye for life, you're going to be booted from the live simply because you're not following what are very easy guidelines that are respectful for everybody. I've explained that all caps is for my moderators and for my folks that are vision impaired. So surely to goodness, you can abide by that. It's not difficult. Okay. Now, just saying, it shouldn't be that hard. So the reality is this, folks. If you are not worried about small businesses, properties, and cars when sporting events take place and those things are damaged, do not worry about them when people are exercising their First Amendment rights. Okay. Understand that if those individuals, right, are arrested for damaging properties and cars and whatever, then the court system will deal with those things. Okay. The other thing that I want you to understand is that cars are insured, right? Cars are insured. Businesses are insured. People are not. People, not all people have, like, life is not something that you can replace with a check. And what is happening to many people in this country that came here under many of them under legal circumstances, right? Are being traumatized. Their children are being traumatized. These are experiences that you don't just get over because you're detained for 2 months at one of the worst prisons in the world and all of a sudden they bring you home. Like, you don't just get over the trauma. The family isn't automatically fixed. That's not the way that it works. Now, the United States of America doesn't do a really good job at addressing trauma, right? So I wouldn't expect for them to actually, like, acknowledge that. Yeah. And so Jedi, and this is my thing. So I understand that ICE has lit cars on fire. Yes, I understand that ICE raided an elementary school graduation as well. I understand that I don't know why it is, because it's literally center. Juan, let me try it. Hey, Susie, let me try one more second, Juan. The number, let me give you the number, Juan, while I try to change that graphic real quick. The number is 877-447-4487. Okay. So let me try to fix it as well. I don't know why it's pushed over today. Yeah, I think it's like for some people who maybe have certain types of phones or whatever, that might be part of the issue. But give me 1 second and I'm going to see if I can't fix that graphic for you and just pull it over just a little bit. Let's see what I can make happen real quick for you. So I think that people need to, can we, because I really want to see if we can find some things that we actually agree on. Do you all agree? And I'm especially those of you that don't necessarily agree with me or support ICE, right? For you guys, for those of you all who feel that way, right? Let me ask you this. Can we all agree that the value of a life is not increased or decreased by its status of citizenship? Can we all agree that the value of human life is not increased, nor is it decreased by someone's immigration or citizenship status? Is that something that everyone can agree on? Especially the folks, and I'm really interested in you folks that support ICE. I want to know if you can agree with me on that. That's what I want to know. Because that part's quite important. Okay. And if you don't agree with that, then that's another fundamental conversation that we need to have. If you believe that life is somehow the value of a human being is contingent upon what country they belong to, you might want to do a check-in with yourself and figure out what underlying bigotry is happening with you, because something's there. Something's there, right? So I'm just going to offer that to you. That, yeah, I just want to offer that to you. Well, no, actually, sailing Invictus, you're actually incorrect. Most other countries, they also have immigration laws, and they also have an immigration process that happens for people that come to their country without a visa. Yes, they do. We are not the only ones. They absolutely do. And so this is where it becomes important for Americans to become as informed as they need to be about the rest of the world. And in America, we tend to not be that. In America, we tend to not do that. We tend to not bother to learn the practices and the laws of other countries. And people just think that it is a certain way. And you make all these assumptions, but it's not, right? Nance said, I was in Detroit when the Tigers won the pennant and my brand new T-Bird was destroyed. Exactly. That's the point, right? And so, thank you, Rachel. Oh my Lord. Okay. Give me a second. I'm trying to do too many things. So it's going to look like TikTok. It's going to look like I'm going away for a second, but I'm not. I'm going to try to fix this banner real quick for a couple of people who said that they were having trouble seeing it. So give me 1 second. Okay. I'm back. So let me change this background real quick. So that folks understand what I'm saying. There it is. Okay, is that better for you guys? Because I moved it over quite a bit. So you should be able to see the whole thing. Anybody that was having issues before. Great, perfect. Okay, so, and I don't know if you all saw what Rachel is saying in the comments on TikTok, but Rachel is saying she was in another country. She overstayed her visa. She still received free health care. She just had to pay to leave, and that was 30 pesos. Right? And so this is the thing, folks. We are not the only country that people go to and they don't have a proper immigration status. The issue is that Americans seem to think that there is something about being an American that makes you better than other people. And you're not. Like, you're literally not better than other people. You know, when people say, democracy is what makes America great, there's over 180 countries in the world that have democracy. We are not the only people that have democracy, folks. We're not the only ones that, quote unquote, have freedom, which, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, isn't really free. Freedom is an illusion. Freedom depends upon who's in charge, who writes the laws, and whether they like what you are or aren't doing. Right? Like, if we're just being honest about things, right? And exactly, Hawk, many would argue that we don't, right? And so I think it's really important that people start to understand, when you begin to use our military on U.S. soil without meeting the legal requirements to do so, that's not just a step in the wrong direction. That is a marathon. That is a leap. Like, that is like driving cross country in the wrong direction. Do you understand? Like, it's not just a step in the wrong direction. It is so dangerous because of the precedent that it sets, right? And I really want people to grasp this. And everybody that says you are a patriot should be against what's happening. Every single person that says they are a patriot should be upset that Donald Trump has activated the National Guard without meeting the legal requirements. Right? So let me go ahead and share with you what those legal requirements are, just so everyone can understand how he did not meet them. Okay. So, when Trump acted in opposition to Newsom to activate the National Guard and send them to California, he cited a law called the Title 10 Authority. Right? Did you all hear him do that when he announced that he was mobilizing them? He cited Title 10 Authority, which places him, not the governor, atop the chain of command, right? Now, again, when we remember that the National Guard is a hybrid entity that serves both state and federal interests, right? Most of the time, it operates under state command and control using state funding, right? So sometimes National Guard troops will be assigned by their states to serve federal missions, but they remain under state command but use federal funds for that purpose. Okay. So the law that was cited by Trump's proclamation places the National Guard troops under federal command. But that law says that it can only be done under 3 circumstances. And this is where you got to pay attention. Okay. Are you ready? So there are 3 circumstances in which that can happen. Number 1, when the U.S. is invaded or in danger of invasion. That is not a standard that has been met. Okay. Number 2, when there is a rebellion or danger of rebellion against the authority of the U.S. government, which, by the way, that would have fit January 6th. Like when you're really attacking the Capitol, that one would have fit January 6th. So that was number 2. And then number 3 is when the president is unable to, quote unquote, execute the laws of the United States with regular forces, which again does not apply here. So he's using Title 10, right? There has to be a court case, Candy Red. So someone will need to file a court case, which I would be surprised if it hasn't happened or if it doesn't happen sometime in the morning, right? For this to be a thing, right? Hold on, I need to hydrate for a second. Holy jeez. And the law also says, so check this out. Probably, Alex. So let me just tell you this, right? The law also says that for those 3 purposes that we just outlined, it says that orders for those purposes, quote unquote, shall be issued through the governors of the states. What was the third point? Okay. The third point was when the president is unable to, quote unquote, execute the laws of the United States, end quote, with regular forces, which obviously he can. So here's the thing. The law goes on to say, though, what was number 2? Number 2 was when there is a rebellion or danger of rebellion against the authority of the U.S. government, which would have been January 6th, right? Mila, you okay? Can I get a commercial break, somebody? I'm coming, sis. Can I get a commercial break, somebody? She's crying. I need to get her. Thanks, Cheryl. Baby, you okay?
Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Come here. What's wrong, baby?
So I'll try to do this thing. Don't forget, if you haven't set your heart, go to the top and click on the button at the top that is a heart for me. I don't know if it is for everybody else, but hi, everyone. And give her the heart for today. Also, you can share the live to help with that algorithm so we can get more people in here so they can learn right along with us. And then don't forget to claim your points for doing that. So you also go to the top to click that heart again and then you get to claim those points for the day. Because you have to do that second step in order for you to get the points for doing it. You got to keep on tapping. The tapping and all the different things we're doing helps with the algorithm, gets more people in here, obviously boosts and helps Danny. Don't forget to check out her link tree. If you're new here and you don't know about her link tree, if you click on Danny's face up there and you go to her, don't do it now, but afterwards you can go and you can find her link tree in there. And her link tree has a ton of information. I guarantee that when she's done with this live, she'll have new links in there based on the stuff that she is talking about today. Each time that she does these things, she shares information in there. So if you can't take notes or you have trouble remembering some of the stuff when it's happening like I do, it's good to go in there and get these links and read more about it or reference it later in case you need any of this info to share with others, or if you're trying to do emails or letters to anyone in regards to advocating. Also, you can subscribe to Danny. Don't forget to do that if you haven't. Subscribing to her gives you access to, in her Discord, to some things that you wouldn't get access to otherwise, like movie nights, more advocacy work that we can do together, talking to other wonderful people that are in this live right now and other people who may not be here. There's lots of different people that we share information with, pop ideas off of. Sometimes we're there just to be a shoulder to lean on. Obviously not in person. So hopefully, I think I remembered everything. Did I forget anything, guys? Hope Mila's okay. Oh, thank you for the gifts, guys. This is just an amazing group. So if anyone here is new here, you really want to hang out with us. We learn so much here. So she might be a minute. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm not going to be the greatest person about sharing what she's talking about now. That's new for me. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Any questions on topics you guys know I know about? What are you guys up to today? Yeah, Chelsea, that's what I'm asking. What is the best thing that happened today for everybody? Any cool things? Don't forget to keep tapping. Everything okay?
She was playing in Tutu's essential oils, like putting them on her wrists and her hands, and then wiped her eyes.
Oh.
And so that's why she was screaming, because they were burning. And so I was in there flushing her eyes out.
Oh, no. Yeah, and then she probably was rubbing, and that actually makes it worse because it's oil.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yep. And so I was like, don't. So then I had to wash her hands because she kept wanting to rub them. And I was like, don't do that. Let me wash your hands first. And so.
Are the oils kind of like the stuff where milk helps more than maybe water?
I don't know.
I know it hurts. Some people say when you get oil in your eyes, like, you know, when they tell you you're going to protest and those type things, to use baby oil, actually, which sounds weird. Or not baby oil, I'm sorry.
Milk.
Shampoo.
Baby shampoo.
Because it's gentle. It's very gentle. It's tear-free. And so if you have any of that around, that might help.
Yeah, my girl. Y'all, when I heard the type of cry that it was,
you know,
I was like, like, we all know Mila can fake cry. But that was not the cry that we had just then.
No.
So thank you, Cheryl, for coming so quick.
If you need more time, you can get somebody else up here with me. We can.
Yeah. Who else do I have up in here?
About this different topic if you need.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see if she can. Are your eyes open now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's better. She's good now.
My eyes fail.
Your what?
My eyes fail.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so let me just tell you, listen, I held her in there and literally held the eyes open and poured the water in. I'm like, girl, listen, we getting it out. Yeah.
Oh, water was in my mouth.
Yeah, it was in your
How's her
mouth.
breathing?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Okay, good.
Okay, you good, baby? You want me to just hold you for a little bit?
I didn't mean to.
I know you didn't mean to.
Oh,
She was
you're
in
not
there.
in trouble.
No, she was in there and she goes, I didn't know it would hurt like that.
Oh my goodness.
I said, girl, I know. She said, I didn't mean to. Girl, I know you didn't mean to. It's out now, Jen Pen. It's out now, or she would still be wailing like she was. Whew. Holy jeez. Yeah, listen, my heart was going in the whole nine.
Yeah.
She,
Yeah, you can hear my husband in the background. He's the background talker this whole time.
yeah, no, I washed her hands while we were in there. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, and she loved like, and I will put some like on the inside of her wrist, but I usually dab it on. And so she was in there using the restroom and thought she would just check them out. And there you go, right? So you're all right, babe. Okay. Okay.
I know, it's hard. It's hard when you hear that cry too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Holy jeez. Girl, you scared me.
I was asking everybody what was the best part of their day today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's never a dull moment. Yeah, Miriam, she can see. Yeah, she can see.
I bet she smells good.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Let me tell you what. Yeah, no, when I heard the cry, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, she was struggling. Can you see Sissy over there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, babe. We'll just relax for a minute, okay?
You got all our hearts racing here, Mila.
Girl, listen.
Especially anybody who has kids who knows the cry. We heard it too.
I know. And right, that was not a normal Mila cry. Oh, this weekend has been no like easy road. This weekend has been a lot. But yeah, so thank you guys for holding tight and all the things. And holy geez.
Anytime, we get it.
Yeah. So lots of energy, Jen Pen, 100%, right? Yep, she can see. And yeah, that was not the Oscar cry. That is true. It was not the Oscar cry. And then as soon as Bella saw me run in, Bella came running in the bathroom and she was like, what's wrong? Is Mila okay? For as much as they fight, them sissies love each other, I tell you. So, oh, okay, baby. Okay. So yeah. All right. Yeah, and I will probably do that. Yeah, Miriam, probably so. But I will tell you this, I was holding the eyes open and putting water in them eyes. Oh, yeah. Bella was on the couch watching videos. I don't think she heard it at first. Because it was the second one that I heard that was like shrill. And then I was like, oh shit. So I was really concerned. So yeah. All right. All right, Cheryl, I appreciate you. If you want to hang out here, you can, or I could drop you down, whatever you want.
I'll hang just for a bit, just in case.
Okay.
And I'll put myself on mute.
That works for me. Okay. Holy geez. Yeah, so what I was saying about this use of Title 10, not only does it not meet the three requirements, the three types of ways that it can be initiated, right? It doesn't meet any of those three. And the law still says, even if it did meet one of them, that it's done in coordination with the governor, right? And so I think that people don't quite get that, right? And people aren't, and this is what I was saying before, is that every single person that says you are a patriot, this, what I'm saying right now, should not be a point of contention. What I'm saying right now should be something that you fully agree with. If you believe in country first, if you believe in following the Constitution, if you believe that we are a democratic constitutional republic, right? Which we are, folks. All of those three things play a role in our government and how we do things. Then this should not be a point of argument at all. For those of you all who are upset, and you're asking, are they doing things peacefully? My question would be, were they doing things peacefully on January 6th? The answer is no. This is not conditional. Y'all, it's not conditional. And it doesn't matter if they're peaceful or not. The governor is who determines whether or not that happens, unless there are specific circumstances that allow and dictate for anything else, right? Alex, did you mean to request up? Because if so, I can bring you up. I didn't know if you tapped your way in or if you meant to. While we're on this note, I'm going to try to play this within TikTok. I think I'm going to try to do that. And if I cannot, I will play it. Nope. Okay, Alex. I will play it on my desktop so everyone can hear it. Because Trump did what he always does, right? When someone doesn't bow to him, he threatened to stop funding California. Did anybody see that, where Donald Trump was threatening to stop fund California? So does anybody know what a donor state is? A donor state is a state in which, let me see if it will let me do it. It will not. Okay, give me 1 second. So a donor state is a state who actually pays revenue into the federal government to pay federal government bills, and they give more money to the federal government than they receive from the federal government. And California is one of those states. They pay $80 billion into the federal government. So I'm going to tell you what Gavin Newsom said. Hold on 1 second. Hold on a second. Oh, you okay, boo? Oh, thank you for kissing my arm, sis. I appreciate you. All right. So listen, here it is. Oh, wait. Let me turn my volume up. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready? This is Gavin Newsom on TikTok today. Okay. What? So remember, you guys, last year, Gavin Newsom was meeting with the state's attorneys. Do you all remember this prior to the election? And there was news coverage about Gavin Newsom meeting with the state's attorneys. And he said, listen, this will not be my first go round with the Trump administration. He said, we will not be caught flat-footed. We will be ready to go like on the offense. He said that clear. And let me just say this, I'm not a huge Gavin Newsom fan. Like, there are things about him that just make me go, I don't really know, right? And I will say, right, when it comes to, standing up for California, he does do that, and he will call Trump out accordingly, right? So, yeah, which I just can't get all the way into the whole Gavin Newsom thing. But that response is both appropriate, accurate, and fire, right? Guys, what is it? The state of California has the largest budget, like the 8th largest budget in the world. Isn't it the 8th, y'all? Somebody tell me. If I'm not mistaken, it's something like that. That California has the 8th largest budget, 4th in the world, 5th. See, here we all know it's a hell of a lot. 4th, 5th, it's one of them, right? And so the bottom line is that, when we start to think about what does it take to run the country, right? Gavin Newsom has been running California for a good minute now, right? He knows how to manage an economy, right? It slipped to 5th last year. Got it. And while there may be things that I don't like about him, this is not a dumb man. This is not someone who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't understand the state of California. He absolutely does, right? Right. He's been handling more money than the rest of the country has, right? So I think that just people need to keep that in mind. And the fact that he said, I am going to make sure that California is not caught flat-footed if Trump decides he wants to pick a fight with us like he did last time. And for those of you all that have forgotten, I need you all to remember that Donald Trump is a person who says things like, if you don't do what I want you to do, we're not going to send aid for fires. We're not going to fund your schools, right? So I don't know about you all, but I have an issue with a leader threatening to hurt people's lives, literally, because they don't do what he wants them to do. This is not a business. This is not, yes. You playing this game? She's playing now and everything's good. This is not that, right? There's nobody in the administration whose last name is Gambino or Gotti or any of those things, right? So we need to understand that we don't run the country like that. We don't run the country like a business. The country is not a business. Do you all understand that? The country is not a business. I wish that everybody understood that, right? And being able to run a business does not mean that you can run a country. It's not. This country is only as successful as the people are. It's only as healthy as the people are. It's only as whole as its people are. It's only as prosperous as its people are. Right? And here's what we know, like this is not something that we're doing a great job of right now. Right. He's a bully. 100%, right? Yeah. Ooh, I don't like that. But I want to read something to you guys as well, okay? Yes, sugar butt. I don't care. Yeah. Yes, or here, I have your other, give me the bag so I can give Mila hers. The bag that had all the stuff in it, sissy. Is it on the other side of the couch, babe? Thanks, Cheryl. I got you. Okay, so let me ask a question, because I feel like normally what happens is we get some trolls when they figure out ain't nobody playing dumb games, right? Then they end up leaving. So let me ask this question. Do I have any Trump supporters or individuals who support yep, this is yours, Mila. I'm getting it for you. Yeah. What did your mom? What's up, Titus? What? Yeah. Yeah. Here. Come here, Mimi. I know, right, girl? There, boo. Okay. Y'all, chocolate makes everything better. So that's what she's getting, chocolate. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, reset is what Titus. I just did. It says I'm at 58 out of 550. Oh, your dog looked up because I said Mimi. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh my God. I got distracted by the kiddos. Somebody tell me what I was saying just now.
You were asking about any Trump supporters in
Yes.
there. I don't know if you can ask them.
Perfectly. Love that. Okay. So the reason I'm asking this is I specifically would like to hear from Trump supporters or people who support ICE, people who support the activation of the National Guard. I would like to see if there are any of those people in here. That's what I would like to know. And if so, would you mind coming up on the panel, not to argue or debate, but to have like a respectful conversation? Because I'd like to talk through the points about how you've come to that place to support something that not apparently, not seemingly, but actually violates the law. And why are we excusing it for Donald Trump? Right? Right, Witch. So that's what I'm looking for, not to argue, but to actually have that conversation. Yeah, baby. Yeah, go ahead, babe. And the reason I want to do that is because there are a lot of people, I think, that sit in my lives and they're just quiet. They don't talk, they don't ask questions, they don't express viewpoints, but they just listen. And I hear you, and it is beneficial for absolutely everyone if we can talk about these things, not arguing, not playing gotcha moments, not belittling each other and debating, but literally having a valuable conversation that helps us understand how the other person got to where they are and what they think and what they believe, right? Good dialogue, good discourse. And that's what I hope people will be interested in and will be willing to participate in. I don't know. And I think what happens a lot of times in my lives, I don't oftentimes get like Trump supporters in who will actually have significant conversations, right? They either will be like a troll or somebody who's not really genuine. And then the other people who will leave, right? This is new. Who's a true criminal? We the people discombobulated. Yeah, I mean, yeah, baby. Yeah. Thanks, Titus. I appreciate you. Yeah, baby. There's okay.
I can get one myself.
You want to get one yourself? Okay, that's fine. Do you want me to open it for you? Do you? Yes. You want me to open it for you?
Just flip. What?
You slipped
again.
You slipped again?
No, I flipped.
You flipped again. Okay, girl.
I flip.
Here, girl. Okay. Yeah, right. And that's my thing, left of center, is that I would hope that we are here to educate and not just for likes and shares and debates and arguing, because what is the point of all of that, right? How many of you all, I don't know, Lulu Bell, she was hanging on my chair acting like she was slipping. How many of you all saw the statement that Kamala Harris put out about what is happening in LA today? She put it out shortly before I went live. Did any of you all see it? So let me read it to you and tell you what she said. What's up, Sammy J? It says, Los Angeles is my home. And like so many Americans, I am appalled at what we are witnessing on the streets of our city. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. In addition to the recent ICE raids in Southern California and across our nation, it is part of the Trump administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. This administration's actions are not about public safety. They are about stoking fear of a community demanding dignity and due process. Protest is a powerful tool, essential in the fight for justice. And as the LAPD mayor and governor have noted, demonstrations in defense of our immigrant neighbors have been overwhelmingly peaceful. I continue to support the millions of Americans who are standing up to protect our most fundamental rights and freedoms. Yeah, I know, Angel. So that was her statement. And I agree wholeheartedly, right? One of the things that bothers me is there will be one image of one car or one protester doing something, and that will be the leading image across all of the media. because it's the most sensationalized image that they can get a hold of. And it is so misleading, as if that represents the entire country or the entire protest, the entire people that are in the streets of LA. It's misinformation, and I believe that it is intentional. I really do believe that, right? Because and they do it a lot, right? I know he does. And so let me tell you one of the concerns that I have, okay? And I am not someone that is a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. And let me just say this. One of the issues that I have right now is the activation of the National Guard, the calling on of Marines to go to LA at the same time that tens, if not dozens, if not hundreds of military equipment is arriving in DC in preparation for this parade, right? I think people should not discount that as something to be concerned about. Having all of that equipment that has been brought into a centralized location. Like I said, I just think that people need to be aware. 100%. I just really do believe that. Jen, you wanna pop in here as a veteran as well?
Yeah, and as former law enforcement. I was engaged in protests in Washington as law enforcement during May Day and all that stuff every year. And for the most part, they were peaceful. You have to look for the bad actors that are there to incite, that have nothing to do with what the protest is about. Antifa is one of them. They will go down there and they will poke that bear to get law enforcement to respond, and then it's game on.
So let me ask you, I got to ask you a question about that. When you say Antifa, because Antifa is not an organization, right? They're not a centralized organization. And what I also know is that there are organizations similar to that are on the right that also do that. We saw that happen with the George Floyd issues. Yes. that they were not Black Lives Matter people. They were not quote unquote Antifa. They were actually bad actors who were on the right side of things, and they were white and they were prosecuted for it, right? And they weren't from the place.
Specifically, what we dealt with in Washington was people claiming to be Antifa. We had protests all day long, and they were peaceful, and nobody got hurt, nothing was vandalized. And then as soon as nightfall hits, these guys come out and they start breaking windows and vandalizing and causing just hate and discontent. As far as the National Guard goes, I'm appalled. And honestly, they need to remember what the UCMJ says.
Right. Which is why I have the hotline up here.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, I think it's maybe not being taught what your rights are in the military. You still have rights, and you have the right to not follow an unlawful order.
Right. Right. And that's why I put the link to the PDF up there, because it absolutely clarifies. It's the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's basically our law book.
Yep.
Yes, what Donald Trump is doing currently is not following the law. 100%.
Yeah, no, it's not a lawful order.
Yeah.
I'm in total disbelief, and it's just, it's crazy. It's bananas.
Well, what I'm interested in seeing is how it all shakes out and what the legal process is going to be.
I think there's going to be a lawsuit.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think that if they're playing the long game, I think that he is going to enact the Insurrection Act before that happens.
Well, and again, that's one of the reasons I'm bringing up all of the equipment
Yep.
that has been brought into a centralized place, right? So here's what I'm going to say. So, Riki Delatorre, if you're a real person and human being, feel free to join the panel to talk about things, right? If not, you're going to be muted or booted from the live just because you're not saying anything productive, like at all. Same thing for you, Mike Foy. I sent you a direct invitation as well. So if you guys are actually interested in having a real conversation around law and around the Constitution and around all of those things, by all means, you're welcome to join the conversation. If not, you're going to be booted from the live, right? So whatever works for you. Like real talk. Like I just, it's just one of those things. I think so. In my opinion, the Senate needs to call a special session and come back.
Yeah.
The Senate needs to Congress needs to call a special session and come back. That's what needs to happen. Pretty quickly, right? It's kind of along the same lines as, okay, give me a second. I don't do misinformation and bullshit. Bye.
I honestly, I think that the peaceful protests, because they were peaceful starting today. I've been watching since it started, before it started actually. And if you want a good indication of actually what's going on, there are several people on different platforms live streaming what's happening, and it's not what's on the news.
Right.
But I think if the LAPD did their thing, they have to crowd control. That's a necessity. I'm not saying it's not. But instead of projecting force towards the protesters, stand in the line, protecting them while they protest. You can do that and still allow them their freedom to protest, and it would not have popped off like it did.
Right. Let me just see if I can see. So Gavin Newsom has just said that he is requesting the Trump administration withdraw its order to deploy the 2,000 National Guard troops, calling it unlawful. He said that Trump is trying to manufacture a crisis and violating California's state sovereignty. He says these are the acts of a dictator, not a president. So we're going to see where this is going to go. I will tell you that he's correct. The same way, so this is my personal opinion. I think that where we are is very dangerous for the country. In my personal opinion, I believe that what's being said about Abrego Garcia has been generated and created in order for the Trump administration to comply with the federal government, but not look like they're complying, so they don't have to admit that they were wrong, and to try to make him the criminal that they say he was.
Absolutely.
That's what I 100% believe. What I know is that we see that a lot in marginalized communities where they want to make you the criminal that they say you are, so that you end up in the system and they get what they wanted anyway, right? I think that Tennessee is a law that has demonstrated that they are willing to go the mile along with the Trump administration. And so that is who they were able to get to do it, right? So that's literally what I think about those two things. What does that mean?
A comment asking, is peaceful a judgment call or are there specific elements? So each police department has their idea of what peaceful is. Holding signs, yelling at cops, that's peaceful. They're not actively, aggressively trying to get through a line. they're just throwing slurs. Is it necessary? No. But having been on those lines, you have to have thick skin. And you just have to stand there.
Yeah, listen, calling a police officer a bitch is not against the law.
Nope.
It's just not. You can say you're a piece of shit. It's not against the law, right? So, Stephen, I'm not sure when you're saying this has to be opposite day, you cannot really believe this. Who are you talking about? I can't see all the comments. This is what bothers me about this platform and using them, because I can't stand that. No, well, you can't spit on anybody. That's assault, right? So no, I mean, I wouldn't recommend spitting on a police officer, right?
It's not fun.
Yeah, no, like I don't think it's fun for anybody, right?
No, it's not.
But I think that people need to understand that when they do things like this and they violate law for a cause that you support, you need to understand that that same law can be violated against you.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you don't like it. Are you talking about from me, or are you talking about from them? Because I'm totally confused by what you're saying, Stephen.
The other thing is you have to understand, like, there's different types of protests. There's protests where you get I forget what it's called. Like what they had in DC over the weekend with the vets. They got permits and everything. They were there. They were allowed to be there. Yeah. These protests are not permitted. Mm-hmm. As long as they're not blocking streets, going on the freeway, they're not infringing anything. Once they do that, law enforcement has to take steps. But it's how they take those steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Stephen, what is it that you cannot support? Because what I'm supporting is the law, right? That's what I'm supporting. So that's what I'm supporting. So what is it about this conversation that you can't support? That's the part that I don't get. I kind of wish you were over here on TikTok so I could just bring you up on the panel. Yep. I do. Nothing is manufactured. Okay, well, we can agree to disagree. But what I will still say is that, okay, so again, Donald Trump has violated the law by activating the National Guard. Title 10, which is the law that he cited when he activated them, has 3 conditions that must be met. You can only activate Title 10 under 3 different conditions. Okay. Hey, girls. Not so loud, please. Not so loud. The first one is if the U.S. is invaded or in danger of invasion, which that's not true. What's up, user? Number 2, when there is a rebellion or danger of rebellion against the authority of the United States government, also not true. Or when the president is unable to, quote unquote, execute the laws of the state with regular forces. Now, it also says that orders for any of those 3 purposes also, quote, shall be issued through the governors of the states. So regardless, Donald Trump is violating the law by activating the National Guard against Gavin Newsom's desire. Period. That's it.
So I'm not saying that it's right, but had he used reserve forces instead of National Guard, he would have been within his right, because those are federal forces. The reserves are federal, the National Guard is state. However, being National Guard, there aren't any MP units in the reserves. They're just little like 10s and 20s scattered throughout the country. But even that, we shouldn't have military forces going against our civilian population. Period.
Yeah. So I don't know, and I would need to look at it, but I don't think that he could deploy the reserves unless it's posse comitatus, and that would mean there would have to be an insurrection of the state, and there's not that in California, right? So but my point is he could not activate the reserves right now, no matter what. That wouldn't be legal because we don't meet the standard to invoke the Posse Comitatus Act, right? So he can't use the reserves right now. He can't use the National Guard right now. Both of those things would be illegal. And that's the point.
Well, the Marines would be illegal too.
Yeah. So, I mean, so Bizzle, so exactly what I said is that we need to have so first of all, I expect there to be a federal lawsuit. I expect there to be a lawsuit. Two, I expect for, well, I don't expect it, but what needs to happen is Congress needs to call a special session and come in to handle what's happening right now. Like that's my opinion. Because that's what it's going to have to be. It will either have to be Congress or it will have to be the court system. Those are the two things. Period. And so I think that people don't understand that. So Stephen, I'm interested in federal does not trump state. It doesn't, not where the National Guard is concerned. And what you don't understand is that that's not the case. This is not a case. National Guard, they belong to both the state and the federal. They belong to both, but they fall under the command of their governor. And there are only special circumstances where the president can override that and make them under his authority instead of the state. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's the law. You don't have to like it, but that's the law. And why this is hard for you to grasp, I don't get. I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. You read the law, it is what it is, right? Because Mila, not so loud. So Bizzle, what will have to happen is probably an action in court between the state of California and the federal government, which is why I reminded everyone that a year ago that Gavin Newsom was meeting with the state attorney general in preparation for the Trump administration, because they've already been in a place where Trump has threatened them. Hey, Taz, you meant to come up?
Oh, no.
No. Okay, I got you.
No, sorry.
No, you're good. So it's just that simple. It will go through a court process, 100%. So, and I think that if you want your Congress people to come back in and call a special session, now's the time to call on them to do so. Now's the time to contact their offices. Their offices are still open. They might not be in session, but their offices are open. This is absolutely the appropriate time to be telling them to do their damn job, because they took an oath to the Constitution, not to an administration. And I think this is the part that people keep forgetting. National Guard, the military, they didn't take an oath to the President of the United States. They didn't take an oath. You're not blocked, Stephen. I can literally see you. They didn't take an oath to any of those things. They took an oath to the Constitution of the United States, period. And so Congress needs to be calling a special session. It's not his Congress. And that's the part that people need to remember. It's not his Congress. And there are Republicans that do not support what is currently happening. And all that has to happen is for one of them to find their integrity and take a stand. And then that will open the door for other people to do the same. That's what's required. It's one of the reasons.
The same can be said for why the National Guard deployed to LA. It takes one person to say, no, it's unconstitutional, we will not be going.
My understanding is that some of them did do that, but I have to look, right? I have to look it up. That's what I was trying to find earlier. Give me a second.
I think I know where it is.
And I'm just going to say it because I'm a Gen Xer vet. I have said no plenty of times. It did not scare me.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'd have to look to see whether or not it did or didn't happen.
I thought I heard something about a Marine commander saying that they weren't going to.
Yeah,
after Hegseth put out his little tweet.
Yeah, let's see.
Jessica, they are there now. They weren't there when Donald Trump said they were there.
Yeah, here it is. So the state attorney general, California Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis says a lawsuit by the state over President Trump's deployment of the National Guard is likely tomorrow morning. Quote, I believe that we are likely going to see a lawsuit tomorrow, recognizing that he did not have the authority to call in the National Guard for 400 people protesting in a way that local law enforcement could clearly handle. And this was just said tonight, right? So she referred to a request that Newsom made today asking the Defense Department to rescind the deployment of the National Guard to LA and to return control of the troops to the state. So Newsom, her, and the mayor have urged protesters to demonstrate peacefully while stressing the response should have been left to local law enforcement. So, yeah, like I said, lawsuit tomorrow morning, which is what I expect, right? But what needs to happen, because the court can rule in favor of the state, and then the control of the National Guard returns to Gavin Newsom, right? 100%. Let me look real quick for over here. I don't know what main post he's talking about. I don't know. This is why I'm trying to figure out this. Can the National Guard? I mean, it just depends. It depends. So if you follow an illegal order and it causes significant harm or damage, yes, you can be held responsible because you took an oath you're not to follow an illegal order. Period. Go watch A Few Good Men, right? Yes. Did you issue the code red? Yeah. And he still was found guilty and he still suffered consequences. Yes, you cannot follow an illegal order and you can be held responsible for it. Now, typically, I don't know if you'll see that or not, right? But in this particular case, but that's it, right? Yeah. So I just think, like I said, that Gavin Newsom prepared for this moment, y'all. Yeah, Athena, I already read her statement in here just a few minutes ago. And it is usually the lower personnel who suffer the consequences. Exactly, Hawk. Yeah. So I just need for everyone. I wish Stephen was over here on TikTok. So yeah. So I played what Gavin said already. And they are saying that that they expect for them to file a lawsuit for the state. The state will file a lawsuit tomorrow morning in court against the Trump administration and ask a judge to halt this and return the troops back to the governor's command. That is what will happen in the morning. What's up, Eric? So just so everybody understands that that's where we are. Why anybody has an issue with this is beyond me. Do you all understand? 400 people protesting in Los Angeles County ain't shit. I just need y'all to 400 people protesting in LA is nothing. It's in my link tree when everything is in my link tree already. So yeah, 400 people in LA ain't shit. It's nothing. And that's exactly why they said this was not necessary. Right. And that's the part that's important. And so, like, actually what police officers have said is that they can handle a large protest. You can give them 2,000 people, 10,000 people marching, and they can handle it. What they couldn't handle would be 20 different protests or 20 different marches that had 500 people each, right? That would be harder because that would be a strain on the police. but they're all in that one thing, right? So that's what makes it easier for them to manage, easier for them to balance. Like that's just where we are with things. And anybody that doesn't agree with this, I strongly recommend for you to ask yourself why. What is it that makes you willing to overlook law and fact for Donald Trump? What is it? What is it? Because that's literally what's at stake here, right? And Bizzle, let me just say this. I have no desire currently right now to see Donald Trump impeached. Number one, we don't have the votes for it. It's a waste of time and energy and money. Number two, JD Vance is sitting on the back burner, and he's more dangerous, in my opinion, than Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So like, no, leave Trump's dumbass in there and let him continue to do things that still get stopped in the courts and do what we need to do. So no, I have no desire for that to happen. So if the courts side with the state of California, then the troops go back underneath the governor's control. The governor then sends them back to like takes them off the streets. And then law enforcement continues to manage the protests, and most likely things de-escalate. That's it. Listen, a protest never de-escalates with the adding of military, with the adding of weaponry, with the adding of like that. It doesn't happen, right? Like that's not the thing that de-escalates it. Yeah. What did oh my gosh. What did Tony Stark say? He said, yeah, because, a nuke that always calms things right down. I'm a Marvel girl, so just forgive me for that. But yeah, but isn't that what he said? Isn't that what he told Nick Fury? Oh yeah, because that always calms things right down, right? And so that's exactly what Newsom is saying, and he's right. Period. And I think that, how this happens at the court, I do think the courts are going to side with the state of California. I do think it will get nipped in the bud and be handled. It's also one of those things where they're testing the waters to see what they can get away with. And that is why the state of California has to sue. This is why if Congress was smart, they'd call a fucking special session and go in and handle things. And the reason why is they are testing the waters to see what they can get away with. And the more they are not met with fervent resistance, the further they're going to go. Period. Right? So that's just my opinion. And for all of this talk about finding waste, fraud, and abuse, I don't see any of you Trump supporters pissed off about a $90 million fucking parade. I don't see any of you pissed off about the funds that it takes to ship dozens and dozens of tanks and artillery up to DC. I don't see any of you angry about all of this misuse of funds that is totally and completely unnecessary.
And add to that the road work that's going to have to be completed after those tanks roll through.
Hell yeah. So I'm just saying, right? What that tells me is that your argument isn't valid, right? You're not, it's disingenuous. It is selective, and your reasoning is selective, right? So I'm just saying, so bless it. Boop. Look how quickly that block button just stays on. I've had such a rough day and a rough weekend on TikTok. I am not tolerating any foolishness. My block button is strong tonight. And you will just be dip, 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 dip out of here. Having said that, if you would like to have a real conversation, come on up here and join the panel and we can do that. Yeah, the old boy that was up here talking about an insurrection and shit, he's gone. He's gone. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm just not. So that's the thing. So this is why this big, ugly ass bill is so important, right? So what we know is that the court, what's his name? The judge that starts with a B. Well, I cannot remember this man's name, probably because I'm tired as hell. So he has found the Trump administration in criminal contempt. That is why I believe they bought, Boasberg. That's why I believe they brought Abrego Garcia home, because he said to them, I will have you prosecuted.
Yep.
That's what he said. I will have you prosecuted if you don't bring him the fuck home. So this was their way of bringing him home and still trying to demonize him and make him the criminal that he's not, right? So that's what this is. Understand that in this bill, there are a couple of components that are really, really, really important, folks. One is this condition that people suing the government would have to pay a bond before a federal court could use their injunction power and enforce someone being found in contempt. That violates the 14th Amendment. Oh, I've been on for quite a while now, doll. But it violates, like 2 hours. It violates the 14th Amendment. You cannot obstruct access to the courts, and access to the courts cannot be dictated solely on finances. If you don't believe me, go search. Listen, there have literally been divorces that have been granted to people who were too poor to get lawyers and all the things, and they couldn't pay the fees. Like, being poor cannot keep you from, that's why they give out public defenders, right? Because being poor can't keep you from accessing the court. Yeah, so Miriam, it is section 70302 of the bill. And what it would require is that before the court could use its federal contempt powers to enforce an injunction, it would require that the person suing the administration would have to pay a bond first. Right? And what that would mean is that before the federal judge could find the Trump administration in criminal contempt, right, or have them prosecuted, somebody would have to pay money first. That's in the bill. Okay. What's the other thing that's in the bill? The other thing that's in the bill, which is section 4. Oh my gosh, my brain is hurting tonight. Ooh, hold on, give me a second. That's the other thing I had pulled up. Oh, nope, that's the other thing. I have too many things pulled up. What you need, sis? Because we are actually getting to the part where I did want to talk about some things tonight. What you need, baby? Nothing? Are you sure? Okay, I can't find the bill right now. Or is this it? It is. Sorry. Okay, so I just got excited. Could you tell? I was like, fuck yeah, I found it. Okay, so here's the other portion of the bill around AI, right? And it actually has a stipulation in this bill that that no state, get this is a federal law trying to tell states what they can or can't do. So if this bill passes, it would say to the states, that they cannot pass a single law to regulate AI for 10 years. Yes, Miriam, they have the bill here. I'll put it in I think it's already in my link tree, but I'll add it to my link tree right now. If you're on TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube, my link tree is in my profile. Okay. So it's there for you, right? The very first thing that is in there is a link for a Google Drive where I had a lot of different resources in there. After that, I put in the military Know Your Rights link, and now I am putting a link to the actual bill itself so that you can see it. It's a direct link. Thank you very much. So let me see. Is it going to title it something? Okay. So it just says, let me just put it in here. Big.
Everybody's telling you to hydrate.
Thank you. I'm just labeling it Big Ugly Bill because for me, that's what it is. What's up, Jen? All you folks. Okay, so Dominic, wait, Never mind, Bella. Can you help Tutu real quick? Can you get me some water, babe? Okay. So, I just had it and I'm clicking around. Yes. Okay. So, oh, damn, I had it. So section 43201, but it goes down to 40 for prohibiting. Thank you, baby. Let me give it to you guys. Hold on a second. 10. Oh my God. Why can't I find what I want right now? Okay, let me get to this part. Okay, so can use the funds. Okay, here it is. Okay, so listen, because the section is 43292. So it's the overall section is 43201, but then it's in the 292 section, and here's what it says. In general, except as provided in paragraph 2, no state or political subdivision thereof may enforce any law or regulation regulating artificial intelligence models, artificial intelligence systems, or automated decision systems during the 10-year period beginning at the date of the enactment of this act. So that is saying that the states cannot enforce any law that regulates artificial intelligence for 10 years. So can I give you all the reason why I said you absolutely do not want Trump impeached? And yeah, I've seen that, Michael C. And to have this bill passed. Let me tell you, here's why. So when you have, let's just say, for example, folks, listen, if JD Vance takes over the presidency after the 2-year mark of this administration, he is legally able to finish the rest of this term and still run for office for 2 more terms, which 2 + 4 + 4 is 10. And during that time, AI could not be regulated, even with regard to elections, artificial intelligence, artificial imaging, or any of those things. Yeah, we already talked about that one just now. We already talked about 70302, the Equal Universe TikTok. We just finished discussing that one. You said, wait, say that again? Okay, listen, I'm going to say it again. So, what this is asking for them to do is to say that no state can enforce, because there are lots of states that already have laws regulating AI. Okay. And they are saying that no state can enforce any of those laws for 10 years. Now, you might say, well, why is that? Why is that significant? Okay. So first of all, who do we know is heavily invested in AI and its companies and data? Elon. And Elon just got a shit ton of our data, did he not? He did. He also just, Mila, don't scream. He also just told you that the Trump administration would not have won had he not participated. And Peter Thiel is the other one, correct? So you got Peter Thiel with what's the name? Para, whatever the damn company is. So you have Peter Thiel, which, by the way, that is who made JD Vance the VP pick. That's the billionaire, right? So you've got two billionaires, Palantir. Thank you, Joanna. Palantir. So that's Thiel's company. And then you have Musk on the other side. Now listen to this. So you've got both of these two rich ass billionaires playing around with a ton of our data. Both of them given that access by Donald Trump, right? Elon through Doge under Trump, and Peter through Trump saying, "Oh, put this database together of Americans' information," right? And then what you have is if Donald Trump leaves his presidency, no matter how he leaves it, after the 2-year mark, I don't care if it is 2 years and 1 day, JD Vance is legally able to finish that term as president for the next 2 years and run for office for the next 2 terms after that. He's legally able to be the president for 2.5 years. 2.5 terms. Mila. So what is 2 years plus 4 years plus 4 years? 10 years. 2 years plus 4 years plus 4 years. That's 10 years. That's a whole damn decade. So I think that people need to understand these folks have always been playing the long game. The New York case, I don't know. It just depends. So this is the part that people that people are missing about this is they are playing the long game. So you have to start thinking about what's the benefit of this? Why is this included in here? Why is this included in a budget reconciliation bill? What does it have to do with budget reconciliation? Absolutely nothing, right? You have to ask yourself, why are we including provisions about federal judges being able to use their contempt power? What does that have to do with the budget? It doesn't. And that is also why they are using this budget reconciliation method rather than a regular bill, because then it doesn't require the 60 votes. All it needs is the majority. And so this is the point. So let me just share this with you all. In my humble ass opinion, and I am nobody's pundit, I'm nobody's political guru, I'm literally just a tutu grandmother, as you can hear, right? And somebody who researches things and talks to people, right? In my opinion, there are a couple of things that need to be done quickly, right? I think number one is the court system, right? We have to protect the courts at all costs and ensure that they are able to do their job. And that also means Congress taking back control of the purse strings of this country. And they need to do that. And then what it is going to require is talking about the real issues that impact all of us all the time. I keep saying this to people. So for people like Steven that's in the comments and the rest of you all who are listening to me, I would fathom that the majority of you all listening to me make less than $500,000 a year, right? If you make less than $500,000 a year, put a heart of some sort in the chat. If you make less than $500,000, please put a little heart in the chat. See that? I got hearts going everywhere over here on TikTok, right? So why is that important? Why is that important? Because if you make less than $500,000 a year in this country, you and I are in the same boat. Whether you are Democrat, whether you are Republican, whether you are independent, whether you are unaffiliated, whether you are libertarian, no matter what you are, you and I are in the same boat. And it's a small ass boat. Now, let me tell you, here's the thing. This boat that we're in, you got like Jethro over here with his Confederate flag on his t-shirt and his Trump flag flying high, right? You got Karen over here hollering about her teachers trying to indoctrinate her children. Over here, you got Black Lives Matter protesters, LGBTQIA plus people, and women pissed off because their rights are being taken away, right? And in the middle, we keep getting these holes in our boat, and the water is springing up everywhere. And guess what? Jethro's blaming BLM, right? Karen's blaming the immigrants, right? Black Lives Matter is blaming Jethro. And guess what's happening? While this is happening in this boat, over here is this big ass fucking yacht that's the size of my arm. And it's got all the rich people in it. All of them sitting over here like this, right? Sipping champagne with little arrows popping holes in the fucking boat. These are the people poking holes in the boat. And they just sipping their damn champagne, laughing at us, blaming each other while they get richer and float down the fucking lake on their boats, on their yachts. We have to somehow remind people that we are all in that same boat together. Like real talk. I don't care if you believe in systemic racism. I know that shit's real, but even if you don't believe in it, right? You still in the same boat as me. If you ain't making $500,000 a year or more, guess what? You still in the same boat. I don't care if you believe the South didn't secede because of slavery. I mean, I know it did because I've read the secession letters. But even if you don't believe it, you're still in the same boat as me. Both of us are still watching healthcare get cut. Both of us are still watching benefits be taken away. Both of us are watching our children's education system be under attack. Both of us are watching the teachers in our community be blamed for shit they're not even doing. Both of us are not being paid livable wages by the corporations. Both of us are watching corporations make profits, millions upon millions upon millions, billions of dollars of profit, while their employees are being paid minimum wage and on SNAP. We're all doing that. So the reality is if you want your family to eat better, to live better, to see good doctors, to have access to hospitals, right? Then I want the same things. We might better figure out how the fuck to talk to each other and recognize who the enemy is. Hint, it's the rich people. Can I tell y'all something that's so crazy? So can we all agree that Alabama is a red state? Can we all agree on that? Is Alabama a red state? Because I believe it is. Huh?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about Alabama. I want to share something with you all. I pulled some of this out and we're going to talk about it. Y'all know I love to do graphics and data and stats because they matter. One of the things that really matters to me is healthcare. Why? For a lot of different reasons, but it really hit home for me when my second granddaughter was born, weighing 1 pound, 3 ounces, right? And relied on a NICU in Northeast Tennessee, rural Northeast Tennessee, to save her life, right? And then the state created a medical monopoly. But healthcare matters for all of us. So I want to share some things about Alabama. And I want you to keep this damn bill in mind, okay? You ready? Here we go. So under this bill, let me tell y'all something. I posted this the other day. It is for the Center for American Progress, okay? And I hope that you all hear me when I tell you this. So there is an estimated number of losses for healthcare coverage, people that are at risk of losing either part or all of their SNAP, and the number of jobs that are at risk of elimination because of the clean energy tax credits, right? So check this out. In Alabama, because of this budget reconciliation bill, okay, by 2034, which is how long the bill is for, no worries, John, right? By 2034, Alabama would have an estimated health insurance coverage loss of 170,000 people. 170,000 people in the state of Alabama are going to be estimated to lose their health care coverage if this bill passes and they make these cuts to Medicaid. Okay. Guess what? The number of people that would be at risk of losing some or all of their SNAP benefits is 165,000. Okay. That's healthcare and food, people. Healthcare and food. Now, when we talk about the loss of insurance, here's what we know. We know that when people don't have insurance coverage, they don't get preventative care. They don't get adequate prenatal treatment, right? They just don't. So, you want to know the population of Alabama? Give me a second. 5 million. 5 million. Yeah, 5.15 million is what it says. Okay, now check this out. I want to tell you all something, and I'm a stickler in telling you where I got information from, right? Y'all know that about me. So I got this information. I am reading from, that's odd, Jen. I am reading from the Alabama Public Health Department's website. Okay. I am looking at their notice that came out November 14th of 2024. So what, about 6 months ago, right? Y'all listening? So let me tell you what it says. Just bear with me, and I want you to keep in mind the numbers I just told you. The Alabama Department of Public Health announces that the infant mortality rate for 2023 increased over the 2022 rate. The previous rate, hold on. Do I have it? Oh, the new rate, hold on. Let me tell you the new rate. The new rate is 7.8 unalivings per 1,000 live births. That is an increase, folks, of, where's my little notes? Oh, wait, I broke it down. Hold on. Okay, so that represents, let me tell you, 7.8. The national average for infant mortality per 1,000 births is 5.6. Okay. Now, what does that equate to? That represents 449 infants out of the 57,835 live births in 2023 that did not make it to age 1. That's what it means. I'm just going to go ahead and block this nonsense. 449 infants out of 57,835 that did not make it to reach 1. Now get this. The 3 leading causes of that, number 1 was congenital malformations, deformations, and abnormalities that accounted for 20.7% of them. Did you hear me? That accounted for almost 21%. 1 in 5. 1 in 5. I just gave you that number, John. It was right under 58,000. Now you have to ask yourself, in 2023, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, how many women were forced to carry to term and deliver babies that they knew had congenital malformations, deformations, and abnormalities that meant that they would not survive? Because that happened nationwide, just so everybody is clear. We saw an uptick in infant mortality rates because we saw women being forced to carry to term when they knew it was not viable long term. Okay. Disorders related to short gestation and low birth weight was 14.3%. So what is short gestation? That means they're born early, right? And then SIDS accounted for 6.5% of them. So they talk about a lot of things contribute to infant mortality, including race, poverty, educational levels, and access. Well, let's talk about access. If you don't have health insurance, you don't have access, right? Yeah. When you're poor or you live in rural communities, you don't have access. Now I'm going to give you, remember, this is all Alabama specific right here. The 3-year infant mortality rate for the years of 2021 to 2023, 7.4 was the rate for those 3 years, right? Equaled the 3-year rate for years 2019 to 2021. The 2023 rate of 7.8 is the highest single year rate in almost a decade. Listen to this. Medicaid was the method of payment for 45% of all births in Alabama in 2023. Remember that 170,000 people loss of insurance that we're talking about? Medicaid was the method of payment for 45% of all births in 2023 in Alabama. Got it? And get this, 52% of infant births, infant unalivings, 52% of the babies that unalived were to mothers whose deliveries were done on Medicaid. Now, why might that be? Could it be that a lot of the specialists, a lot of the in-demand doctors, a lot of like the best don't take Medicaid? Could that be an issue? That even on Medicaid, you don't have access to the best healthcare, you just have access to Medicare? Because Medicaid only covered 45% of the births, but 52% of the babies unalivings were from births covered by Medicaid. Yeah, baby.
Didn't you see that the other day it was gonna be the day that I was gonna wash my hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. We can still do that. Yes.
What?
Now listen to this. Only 39% of the infant unalivings were for mothers whose deliveries were paid by private insurance. When we talk about being criminalized and being victimized because you are poor in this country, this is an example of what we're talking about. And this is what your legislators should be doing for you. In my link tree, there's a link to the Centers for American Progress page, and it has it broken down by state to show you exactly what are the numbers for your state. And in the table directly below it, it has the contact information and the name of all the reps in your state by district so that you can give them that information and tell them to vote no on this damn budget reconciliation bill. Did you hear me? I'm literally laying it out for you. I'm giving you the resource. If you go to my link tree and you go to the Centers for American Progress link that I put in there, the figure number 1 lays out for every state the number of people that are expected to lose insurance company coverage between now and 2034, and the number of people at risk of losing their SNAP, all or part of it, at the same time. And then in the figure that is right below that, you can see all of your reps by their district, their names, and whether they are Republican and Democrat, and what are the specific numbers for those districts. They broke it down for you by district. Yeah, oh, that's in South Carolina, Jen. That's in South Carolina. It's House Bill 3537. Although they say it won't apply to a spontaneous one, it doesn't. There's no stipulations regarding that and define that. So I'm sharing all of this with you all. So another thing that is in my link tree, when you go there, the very first link is a link to a Google Drive that has lots of resources for you. Oh, I already blocked that damn bot. As quick as he got in there, I blocked him. But when you go in there, there is a folder that says Medicaid resources. I have taken a bunch of data and a bunch of statistics for states, and I've put them in there, and you can find them. They are organized in alphabetical order. And then there's a separate folder for rural stats, and those are also organized in alphabetical order. And they're graphics that you can use on your social media that you can share with the people in your community. And they are not partisan. They are not partisan. It's not partisan information. For me, taking care of the elderly and the people that are in nursing homes, right? And the people that are giving birth and the people that are disabled, that is not a partisan issue at all. Right. So listen, I'll tell you this, Jamie, my grands just lost their eye doctor, and we loved her because she specifically did not only pediatrics, but she had a lot of preemies that she saw, and we no longer have access to her because that practice that she was with stopped taking Medicaid. So we lost access to her. That's real talk, people. So I'm just saying, it is time to start having conversations. Yeah, Linka, we talked about that a minute ago. I read the statement from the lieutenant governor about it. So listen, folks, we have got to start talking about things that aren't about demon rats and maggots, right? Because that's getting us nowhere. We have to start having conversation about the type of life that you want for your family. What do you want for your family? Do you want your family to have access to good doctors? Because I do. And I want your family to have access to good doctors. I want children, all children, to have access to solid, full, accurate education, right? Those are the types of things that are important, okay? And so that's the conversation that we have to start having, okay? Told you the block button is real strong, folks. Real strong tonight. I'm doing no bullshit. So here are the things that I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to 100% get into my link tree and take a look at the information that is there. There's a ton of it, folks. There's a ton of it. You can go back on my YouTube and my Facebook and watch older lives, right? TikTok doesn't save lives, but YouTube and Facebook does. The girls are playing, right? I know. Y'all call it a link forest because there's so much in there. Use the resources that I provided. When you go to my link tree, there's a little game controller icon at the very top. You can access my Discord, even if you're not a subscriber, by the link that's there. You can either click it or copy and paste it into a browser. And that's how you get into my Discord community when I'm not live, right? And we have a subscriber side and we have a non-subscriber side. Okay. For those of you who do not know, if you are new to me, I do workshops that are free and open to the public. Mila, she said stop. Okay, babe? Thank you. They are free and open to the public. Some of them are on YouTube for you to watch if you didn't attend. I'm getting ready to schedule a couple of more of them. Okay? Those are things that are available to everybody. You don't have to be a subscriber for those. Now, if you are a subscriber, then you have access to book clubs and you have access to documentary viewings and things like that. We just got together on Friday night, myself and subscribers. We hopped on a Google Meet and we watched Pray Away, which is a documentary on Netflix. And then we sat on there for about an hour afterwards talking and discussing all the things. You know, this is what it's about. It's about creating community. And it's about, creating a space for connection on the issues that are affecting all of us. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to join the community. Join the Discord. If you want to become a paid subscriber on TikTok, it's $2.99 a month, right? You can absolutely do that if you would like to. Jen Penn, it was in the Google Meet Zoom channel, and then I posted it in the subscribers discourse when we started on Friday night. So it's there for you, okay? Also, there's a podcast. The podcast is The Danny Cook Show. It's available anywhere that you listen to podcasts. I am excited because this Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Lynn Lee Thorne from Rural Ground Game in Virginia will be joining me. She'll be joining me live. I'll be live on all the platforms. And then after that, she and I are going to hop on a Zoom and record stuff for the podcast. Virginia has a statewide election this year. Every race is being contested, which is incredible, right? Even Southwest Virginia has that. Give me 1 second, Edith. And so these are the things where you can get plugged in, where you can become well-informed and accurately informed. If I don't know the answer to something, I'm going to go look for the answer, and I'm going to go look for it from a verifiable, credible source, period. Okay? That's what we aspire to do in this place. I'm tired of the debates for the sake of debating and bullshit. It doesn't benefit us, and we don't have time to be continuing to disrespect each other, to just dismiss each other because, oh, well, you're a liberal, so you're da-da-da-da-da. You know what? That's just the dumbest thing in the world, to put people in a lumped category and just assume so many things about them. That does no one any good. The only people that benefits are them rich people on the yacht. Okay, Miss Edith, what you got for me?
So, Danny, based on what you were telling us, I was in a group meeting with that movement, Money Out of Politics, and I told the gentleman, Levi, that one of that started the group, that you were interested in collaborating ideas, and I told him he could either reach you on this messenger or on your channel on Discord. Yeah. So I just want to let you know that, okay?
Awesome.
Because I
Perfect.
didn't know if I was really doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But I think, working collaboration is always good.
Absolutely. And that's the point, is we need to be looking at. And so one of the things I want you all to think about. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Edith. One of the things that I will say this, guys, is when you are thinking about people that we want to collaborate with, I want you to be thinking about people that are not into the gotcha moments, the people that are into accurate information, the people that are into building connection, the people that are into moving us forward and getting uncomfortable and having the tough conversations, being able to take criticism and being open for communication. We need to be looking for those people to collab with, right? That's what it's going to take. All right. So, that is all I got. I've been on here for, I don't know, two and a half, almost 3 hours. I will be here tomorrow, in the morning because the kiddos have, physical therapy in the afternoon. My brain went blank. So I'll be here tomorrow morning, and we will dig some more into some more of the state data, and all of that stuff for you. So I appreciate all of you all and all the things. Spread the word. Bring your friends. Right? Pretend like see. Every time I say that, I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, so I always hear in my head, "Bring a friend, bring a neighbor." Turn to your left and say, "Hey, neighbor." That's like what I hear in my head. So bring people with you. I have been on here for 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I appreciate you all very much. Appreciate the support of all kinds, the likes, the shares, the gifts, and all the things. Take care of you. Take deep breaths, and know that we are going to. Not only are we going to get through this, folks, listen, folks, we're not just going to get through this, right? We have an opportunity here to create the type of country that we really want. And I believe that we're going to take advantage of it and really make that happen, right? So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Cheryl. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.